जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय भक्त वृंद ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते पेशा गोपिका कान्तं राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So thank you very much for joining. We are actually continuing our discussion on chapter 20 of the Madhya Lila. This is a continuation of the Chaitanya Shiksha, sorry, Sanatana Shiksha by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The philosophical instructions given by Lord Chaitanya to one of his most dear and confidential disciples, Sanatana Goswami. As we have been discussing these teachings of Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya is giving a wonderful concise but deeply philosophical summarization of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, backed solidly by scriptural quotations. It summarizes Lord Chaitanya's teachings to the whole world. We are at the conclusive installment of this chapter. This has been a very, very long chapter, more than 400 odd verses. So, Krishna willing, we should complete the chapter today. So, we are talking about how Lord Chaitanya describes the different forms that the Lord takes in this world. Lord Chaitanya explains the various kinds of incarnations which Krishna takes in this world. He has already discussed Lila avatars, Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, and now he's about to discuss Manvantara avatars. Lord Chaitanya tells Sanatana Goswami that in every Manvantara, there is an incarnation of the Lord, specifically which appears within that Manvantar, who assists the various administrative leaders of that Manvantar in managing the affairs of the universe. What is a Manvantar? Each day of Brahma is divided into 14 Manvantaras. Each Manvantara is 71 Yuga cycles long. One Yuga cycle is one combination of Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali Yuga. So effectively, in one day of Brahma, 14 Manvantaras, in 1 month of Brahma, 420 Manvantaras, in 1 year of Brahma, 5040 Manvantaras, effectively in one lifetime of Brahma, 100 years, almost 500,000 Manvantara avatars. Manvantara avatars itself, what to speak of all other avatars. So for example, we are currently in the Vaivasvata Manvantara. In this Manvantara, the Manvantara avatar is Lord Upendra, Vamanadev. The Swayambhuva Manvantara, Lord Yajna was the Manvantara avatar. Then very soon we'll be discussing about Tamasa Manvantar when we start discussing the 8th canto. Tamas Manvantar, which is the 4th Manvantar, in which Lord Hari became the Manvantara avatar. So, the incarnation of the Lord, who was the son of Harimedha and Harini, he became the Manvantara avatar. So, there are many Manvantara avatars and they perform different pastimes. In one Manvantara, I think it is the Swarochisha, if I'm not wrong, uh, Lord Ajita became the Manvantara avatar. So, this 500,000 Manvantara avatars is only for this universe. And one breath of Lord Brahma, Lord Chaitanya says that unlimited universes are manifested. And Mahavishnu breathes out, unlimited universes are manifested from the pores of his skin. In one breath of Mahavishnu. So, Lord Chaitanya is saying, who can imagine and estimate the number of Manvantara avatars? If 500,000 Manvantara avatars for one breath of Mahavishnu in one universe, there are unlimited universes. So, all this mathematical calculation is just to give some sense to living entities like us, that there is no limit to the potency of the Lord. There is no limit to his expansions and incarnations. And this is just one type of incarnation known as the Manvantara. It's practically impossible. Sorry, in the Swarochisha Manvantara, it is not Ajita, it's named as Vibhu, who is the incarnation. Ajita is in the Chakshusha Manvantara. I stand corrected. So all the various Manvantara avatars are listed. I will not go into listing all of them. I mentioned a few. Then there is the Yuga avatar. So this is a very interesting conversation. So even though Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, he's also playing the role of the Yuga avatar, which means he's coming and establishing the congregational chanting of the holy names. So can you imagine the Yuga avatar is describing the various Yuga avatars to Sanatana Goswami. So it's a very interesting conversation. So Lord Chaitanya is telling Sanatana Goswami, each Yuga has a particular incarnation of the Lord, the Yuga avatar, who especially appears to establish and promote the main process of self-realization in that Yuga. And then Lord Chaitanya quotes many shlokas from the scriptures. And one of the very famous shlokas that Lord Chaitanya quotes is that in the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, the Lord incarnates in 4 different colors. Shukla Rakta Krishna Pita Krame Chari Varna Dhari Krishna Karena Yuga Dharma. And then there is a verse in the scriptures where in the reference to Lord Krishna, Gargamuni is explaining this to Nanda Maharaj, that this child of yours, other than this incarnation in 3 other yugas, which means Satya, Treta and Kali, because Krishna appeared in Dwapar. This child of yours assumes 3 different complexions, white, red and yellow. Now he has appeared with a blackish complexion. Asan varnastrayo hi asya ghanato anuyugam tanuhu shuklo raktas tatha pita idanim krishnatam gataha. So this is mentioned by Gargamuni to Nanda Maharaj. So Lord Chaitanya also, whenever he's making any philosophical point, even though he's the Supreme Lord, he's always giving support of scriptural verses. He's not simply saying. Every point that he says is backed by scriptural quotations. So multiple verses he quotes to give the 4 colors of the 4 yugas of the incarnations. Then he quotes one more verse, which is also from the Bhagavad. that in Satya Yuga the Lord appeared in a body which was whitish in color with 4 arms and matted hair. At that time he wore the bark of a tree and an antelope skin of black color. He wore a sacred thread and a garland of Rudraksha beads, carrying a water pot, which is a kamandalu, and a rod, and he was brahmachari. So this particular incarnation is referring to Kapila, the son of Devahuti, who taught the Sankhya philosophy and taught the process of meditation. In Treta Yuga, then Lord Chaitanya quotes another verse. I'm not going to go through all the verses, otherwise we'll not complete the chapter. But he quotes another verse where the reddish colored incarnation that the Lord takes in Treta Yuga, who is Yajna, his description is there. And then, of course, the dark blackish complexion incarnation is Krishna. And in Dwapar Yuga, people's main process of worshipping the Lord is through the process of Archana, deity worship. And Krishna personally appeared in that very, very attractive form just to encourage and induce everyone to worship him. So there is a quote in scriptures that in Dwapar Yuga, the Lord appears in a blackish complexion. He dresses himself in Pitambara, decorated with a Kaustubha jewel and Shrivatsa mark on his chest. He is very beautifully decorated with his various weapons. Then there are many verses which Lord Chaitanya quotes to explain what are the Yuga Dharmas in the 4 ages. Krite yadhyayato Vishnum Tirtayam Jajito Mathai Dwapare Paricharyayam Kalau Tadhari Kirtana. That in the age of Satya Yuga, the process of spiritual advancement was meditation. In the Yuga of Treta, it was performance of Yajna, which was explained by Yajna. In Dwapare Paricharyayam, by worship. And Kalau Tadhari Kirtana. But in Kali, the process is chanting of the holy name. Krishna Varnam Tusha Akrishnam Sangbo Pangastra Parshadam Yadnei Sankirtanei Parayai Jajantihi Sumedasah. So Lord Chaitanya starts quoting many verses supporting the Lord's appearance in Kali Yuga to establish the Harinam Sankirtan. 3-4 verses from different scriptures, Lord Chaitanya. Actually, these verses are referring to Lord Chaitanya himself, but he's not revealing that very explicitly to Sanatana Goswami. Of course, Sanatana Goswami is very sharp. So he catches Lord Chaitanya on this point, and we'll come to that in a short while. So Lord Chaitanya explains in these 3 yugas, Satya, Treta and Dwapara, the Lord establishes, but in Kali Yuga, whatever benefit was achievable by meditation, by yajna, by deity worship in the previous yugas, the same benefit, spiritual benefit in Kali Yuga can be achieved simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, especially the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Then Lord Chaitanya also quotes another verse from the Bhagavad, a very beautiful verse which Shukadeva Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj. Kalau dosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahad gunaha kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha paramvari. That Kali Yuga has many faults. Generally, when somebody hears the word Kali Yuga, they are not excited. It's generally depressing because Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. But asti eko mahad gunaha. There is one very, very good quality by which from one angle Kali Yuga excels all other yugas. It's full of faults. There is one good quality. that makes Kali Yuga stand out as super excellent. What is that? Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Simply by chanting the name of Krishna, Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Tasangaha, one becomes free from all material attachment and sins. Param Braje, one achieves the supreme destination. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu Tritayam yato Makhe. We just discussed that verse also. Whatever was achieved in Satya, Trita, Dwapara by the respective processes, the same is achieved in Kali Yuga by chanting the holy names. One more very beautiful verse is quoted from the Srimad Bhagavat by Lord Chaitanya. This verse is spoken by the great sage Garbhajana Rishi, one of the 9 Yogendras, and he's speaking, he's giving a discourse to Maharaj Nimi on the people's duty to worship the Supreme Lord according to different yogas. And there he says, it's a very beautiful verse, I'll recite the verse also. Kalim Sabha Jayanti Arya Gunadnya Sarabhaginah Yatra Sankirtane Naiva Sarvaswartho Abhilabhyate. Very beautiful. Those who are advanced and highly qualified and are interested in the essence of life know the good qualities of Kali Yuga. Such people worship Kali Yuga. Why? Because in this age, one can advance in spiritual knowledge and attain the goal of life simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, simply by performing Sankirtan. Sankirtanena eva. Simply by performing. So there are innumerable quotations across scriptures. Lord Chaitanya quotes a few. That simply by chanting the holy name, one can attain all perfection. And then Lord Chaitanya says, so I have now described the Yuga avatars also. And, just pause for a few moments. And Sanatana Goswami, after he heard this, he was very, very intelligent. He was a minister in the kingdom of Nawab Hussain Shah. Sanatana Goswami gently inquired from Lord Chaitanya. So, Lord, I am so ordinary. I'm an ordinary living entity. I don't know anything. In Kali Yuga, you said there's an incarnation of the Lord of yellowish complexion. In Kali Yuga, how I will know who is that incarnation? Sanatana Goswami knows it is Lord Chaitanya. How will I know? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't reveal his identity directly. Just like in other yugas, based on the words of Shastra, only incarnations are accepted, not by popular opinion. Not that somebody comes and says, oh, I am incarnation of God. In fact, Lord Chaitanya says, an incarnation of God never says, I am God, or I am an incarnation of God. Very interesting. Huh? An incarnation of God never says. The great sage Vyasa has already written in the scriptures of which incarnations will appear and what are their symptoms for people to identify who they are, already recorded. So one must refer to the Shastra. Tasmat Shastra Pramanam te. Shastra is Praman. And if you need more proof, sometimes if you feel that the words of Shastra are broad and they may apply to this person also, that person also, there's another test. There are 2 symptoms by which an incarnation of the Lord can be identified. One is his personal characteristics and one is his marginal characteristics. What do you mean by personal characteristics? His bodily form, his nature, his qualities. These give one indication. For example, it's not mentioned here, lotus-like eyes, certain characteristics of his bodily form, the shape, the marks on his body, the marks on the palms of his hand and the soles of his feet, indicating that he's an incarnation of the Lord. All these marks are there. When Krishna would walk in Vrindavan, he would step in the moist soil of Braja. His footprints would show the marks of Vishnu. The first time when Akrura came to Braj, He saw Krishna's footprint by seeing those marks, and he was rolling in the dust of Vraja, seeing those beautiful marks. So one is bodily characteristics, personal characteristic. The second is marginal characteristic. What does marginal characteristic mean? Marginal characteristics means that the Lord, when he appears, he performs very, very extraordinary activities, which practically is impossible for anybody else to do. So his activities are really, really out of the way. It's not that if an ordinary person can lift 100 kilo, the Lord can lift 150. Not small difference. He can do things which one will say, how can any human being do? Huh? Like Lord Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, and so many other pastimes. So through these two characteristics, Swarupa, his form, and Tatastha, his marginal, and Shastra, one can identify who is an incarnation. So properly one should consult. One should not be whimsical. This is how saintly people determine who is an incarnation. Lord Chaitanya says. And then Sanatana Goswami says, yeah, that's wonderful answer, Lord Chaitanya. This incarnation of the Lord in Kali Yuga, his complexion is yellowish, and his activities are that he distributes Krishna Prem by chanting of the holy names. And you also said that this is how Krishna's incarnation in Kali Yuga is described. Can you please confirm this is the kind of characteristics of the incarnation of the Lord in Kali Yuga? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood what Sanatana was trying to refer to, because Sanatana Goswami was referring to the behavior and activities of Lord Chaitanya himself. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to, oh Sanatan, just give up all these intelligent tricks. And quickly Lord Chaitanya changed the topic. Now I will describe to you the Shakti-Avesha avatars. So the Lord did not deny, but he knew what Sanatan Goswami was up to. So Lord Chaitanya, even though in Shastra there are 30-40 verses in Shastra which explain that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. We don't have time to go through that now. But there is a compilation from so many, from Upanishads, from Puranas, from Vedas, so many various scriptures. But Lord Chaitanya never claimed himself personally. Lord Chaitanya quickly changed the topic from the Yuga Avatar to Shakti Avesha Avatar. And he says, Shakti Avesha Avatars, there are unlimited, there are more Shakti Avesha Avatars even than Manvantara Avatar. Why? Because there are, what is the Shakti Avesha Avatar? Shakti Avesha Avatar means Shakti Avesha, one who's empowered by the Lord. Avesha means empowered. Shakti. Of whom? Of the Lord. Extraordinary Shakti. He can do things which are so extraordinary. So there are two kinds of Shakti Avesha Avatar, primary and secondary. Some are directly empowered by the Lord, and they are known as Shakti Avesha Avatar. Then there are others who are indirectly empowered by the Lord, and they are known as Vibhutis. The Devatas are usually called as Vibhutis of the Lord. They are not called incarnations. But when persons are especially empowered, examples, the four Kumaras, empowered by the Jnana Shakti of the Lord, Narad Muni, empowered by the Bhakti Shakti of the Lord, Maharaj Prithu, empowered by the Shasana Shakti of the Lord, Parshuram, empowered by the Asura Daman Shakti of the Lord. All these are Shakti Avesha. If a living being is empowered to create, even Lord Brahma, even though he's a Guna Avatar, he can also be considered a Shakti Avesha Avatar, because the power to create is invested in Brahma by the Lord. It's not Lord Brahma's power. Lord Anantashesh, who carries the universe on these hoods, He's also an empowered incarnation. So like that, there are unlimited incarnations in the category of Shakti Avesha. So in this way, in various living entities, and Shakti Avesha avatars are jivas like us, but because of their extraordinary devotion and attainments, they are empowered in a particular way to achieve a particular purpose. Then, of course, the second category of Shakti Avesh through the Lord's vibhutis, he spread all over the universe. The Vibhuti Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, the Lord also explains how his vibhutis are spread all over the world. In fact, Krishna at the end of that chapter says that know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations in this world are nothing but just one spark of my splendor. What is their need to know more? That's what he tells Arjuna. Yad yad vibhuti vat sattvam shrimad urjitam eva va tattadeva avagachatvam mama premjamsha sambhavam. Then he tells Arjuna, Arjuna, what is the need to know more? Athava bahunaitena kim jnanena kim jnatena tava Arjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jaya. Just by one small fragment of myself, I am pervading this whole world. That is the vibhuti of the Lord. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya completes the description of all the 6 categories. So earlier we discussed 4 categories. Today we discussed Manvantara and Shakti Avesha. Now, Lord Chaitanya comes to the concluding part of this particular chapter. He says, I will now describe to you about Krishna's characteristics, Krishna's form, characteristics in his childhood, in his boyhood, and in his youth. So 3 ages of Krishna are manifested in the Bhauma Lila, when the Lord appears in the material universes. The spiritual world of Golok Vrindavan, the Lord is always situated in his Kaumar age, 14-15-year-old. But when he appears here, he also has a baby form, he has a young boy form, he has a Kaishora form, he has a Pauganda form, different things. So the Lord has all these different appearances when he comes into this world. And when the Lord appears in this world, before he comes personally, the Lord sends his very, very dear devotees like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda to become his mother and father within this world. And then he appears as a child, and he gradually grows into a youth as if he is an ordinary human being. The Lord comes in his spiritual form. His form is not material. Our body is growing because of the actions of time, and the body grows from childhood to boyhood to youth and so on. But Krishna's body is made of his internal energy. So the Lord gradually changes his age just to perform different pastimes and enjoy himself. But all of these ages of Krishna, his age as Kaishora, pre-youth. Yauvana is youth and Kaishora is pre-youth. Kaishora is 14-15 years old. Kishora Avastha. Kaishora is considered the best. And the Lord performs different pastimes across the 125 years that he spends on this earth. Right from the time that he kills Putna up to the Mausal Lila, where his disappearance pastimes happen. One after another, the Lord is displaying his beautiful pastimes. Another interesting thing Lord Chaitanya says, don't think that the Lord's pastimes of different ages are manifested only in this universe. In different universes, there are billions and trillions of universes simultaneously created by Mahavishnu. The Lord at different times is present within the same moment on within different universes, performing his Krishna Lila in different ages. Which means right now in some universe, Krishna has just appeared. In some universe, Krishna right now, as we are discussing this class, Krishna is killing Putana. Somewhere in some universe, Krishna has appeared and is drifting Govardhan hill. In some universe, Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita right now. So in some universe or the other, each of these pastimes of Krishna that we know is always going on. Which means Krishna is always exhibiting his various ages eternally in some place or the other. That is why even though Krishna's childhood form is not eternally in the spiritual world, in the material world it is eternally there because every age is there all the time in some universe or the other. So that's why sometimes these pastimes are that's why these pastimes are also known as eternal, because even if we may not be able to see that particular pastime being performed in our universe right now, because in our universe the Lila of Krishna happened 5,000 years ago. But right now Krishna's each and every pastime is happening in some universe or the other. If you were to be able to go to that universe, you can see right now that particular pastime of Krishna going on. Just like the sun, Lord Chaitanya gives the example, moves through the sky, through the zodiac. Simultaneously, somewhere a sunrise is happening and simultaneously somewhere the sun is setting. But actually, is the sun rising or setting? No. The same sun is moving over various places. The sun is always there. But it appears to rise and set based on the perspective of the particular person at a particular place on the earth. Similarly, Krishna's pastimes are continuously being performed some place or the other. But to the material eye, Krishna seems to come and go at a particular time. But actually, Krishna's pastimes are all eternal. Some universe or the other. And that is why Lord Chaitanya says, Vedas and Puranas refer to Krishna's pastimes as eternal. But in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual abode, which is also known as Gokula, Goloka, where Krishna herds the Surabhi cows in the beautiful green pasture grounds. There, Krishna's original form, very, very powerful and opulent form, is manifested. And that same Goloka, which is there in the spiritual world, manifests as Gokula in this world whenever Krishna appears in this world. So when Krishna decides to appear in a particular universe, he comes not only himself, he comes with his associates, he comes with his dham, he comes with his weapon, Sango Pangastra Parshadai. The Lord always comes, his associates, so the above. So Krishna comes and manifests Vrindavan here. Krishna not only performs his pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna also comes and performs in pastimes, his pastimes in different ages in Mathura also and also in Dwarka. So the various pastimes of Krishna, broadly three categories of pastimes are most well known. Vrindavan pastimes, based on his Braj Lila in Gokul, his Dwarka pastimes, when he became Dwarkadish, 24 years and beyond, and Mathura pastimes, which are between his Vrindavan pastimes and his Dwarka pastimes. And Lord Chaitanya says that in the dramatic literatures related to the performance of dramas, there are three terms which are used to describe Krishna: perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. So Krishna manifests himself in these three ways: perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests a form which doesn't exhibit all his transcendental qualities, which means displays some, but not all, then that particular form of the Lord is known as complete. When a form of the Lord displays all the qualities of the Lord, but not in full, all, but not in full, that form of the Lord is known as more complete. And when a form of the Lord exhibits all qualities of the Lord and in fullness, that particular form is known as most complete. I'm repeating again. Complete means doesn't exhibit all the qualities of God, but most of them. More complete displays all qualities, but not in fullness. And most complete is displays all qualities in full completeness. Then Lord Chaitanya says, Krishna is complete in Dwaraka, Krishna's form, more complete in Mathura, and most complete in Vrindavan. Even though it's the same person, slightly different ages, different Lila, but the kind of qualities the Lord manifests, that is a gradation. Complete, more complete, and most complete. But only Krishna's personal form in Vrindavan is considered most complete. That is why Krishna in Vrindavan is known as Purna Purushottama. Purna. All qualities in unlimited proportion, his full proportion. He doesn't hold back the display of his transcendental qualities. All other incarnations, what to speak of just Krishna in Dwarka and Mathura, but even all other incarnations, they are either more complete or complete. Only Krishna is most complete. And Lord Chaitanya tells Sanatana Goswami that I describe to you all these topics in brief. Actually, who can fully describe all these things about the Lord's various forms and his various manifestations? The subject is so huge. Even Lord Anantashesh cannot describe. And Krishna's transcendental forms are so varied, no one can actually count them. I have just given you a glimpse. So don't take that now you know everything. I have given you samples so you have some sense of the glories of the Lord. Nobody can claim that they know the Lord in full or they know everything about the Lord. So we are just taking sample. And then as the chapter concludes, Lord Chaitanya tells Sanatana Goswami, whoever hears or recites these descriptions of the expansions of Krishna's body, he is referring to all of us, is certainly a very fortunate man or a woman. Very fortunate. Lord Chaitanya is saying, whoever hears this or recites this is very fortunate. Although it is very difficult to understand, one can get some insight about the different features of Krishna's body in this conversation. In that way, this particular chapter concludes, which is chapter 20 of Madhya Lila. Thank you very much. So that brings us to the end of this chapter. We completed 9:40. Is there any questions or comments that anyone would like to ask?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that was Pranav.
Yeah, Sridharji.
Prabhuji, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when how we took the evidences from all these Goswamis for this Chaitanya Pravah?
Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita based on, uh, especially based on what he heard from Raghunath Das Goswami and some of the diaries written by Raghunath Das Goswami's, the Kadachas, the diaries of Raghunath Das Goswami and also from Sarup Damodar Goswami and other Goswamis. So he heard from them. He whatever was noted by the Goswamis in their diaries, he referred to them, and from there he has compiled Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing else. Thank you. So just a gentle reminder, I think it's Ekadashi day after tomorrow, Thursday, fasting. Also this Sunday, 11th May is Narasimha Chaturdashi. So please observe. So it's very convenient since it's a Sunday. Visit the temple as well. So wonderful festivals, Ekadashi and Narasimha Chaturdashi coming. So on Saturday, we should aim to have the class. Krishna willing. So I will see you all on Saturday. Thank you so much. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai Chaitanya Saratamrita ki. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.